it's one thing for us to be talking about crypto, but the one thing that makes your company and you unique is the fact that most crypto projects launch a token and then spend 6 months convincing investors that something's on the way.
Yeah.
Hyping up the charts. Then all of a sudden that project isn't on the way. Mm-hmm. Marketing money starts disappearing, so on and so forth. But you guys actually have a working project. Like, you have proof, you have credibility. You've got over 200 companies currently using that. Mm. Explain how you go from that to token. What's the binding force behind having something that you already have an app for, where people can use it in a store to purchase, they can get specials and all that sort of stuff? How do we go from that to a token for that? What's the bind?
Yeah, so the vision was always for this project to release a token, its own currency. And we thought, before we actually go ahead and do that, let's test out parts of the business model outside of the currency itself. So that's where we developed the application first. We spoke to business owners about, the project and the roadmap, and we wanted them to try a bunch of features that would be complementary to the cryptocurrency that we're releasing. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we went and did that, and we had a couple of hundred businesses jump on and test it out. We realized that, what we've got is actually a working business model without a token altogether. And so what we've done is put the brakes on that and said, okay, cool, this can scale really, really well. Let's get the cryptocurrency developed and out there. Let's get the pre-sale underway. So we've had our opportunity for some people to get on board early. And then let's continue moving forward with the product in the market. So
that's so cool. And this is what excited me when we first met over a year and a half ago. It's nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
And that was by chance as well too. And we were both sitting at a restaurant that's using that.
Yeah.
And we were 2 tables apart. And my missus leant over to me and said, "Paul, they're talking about crypto." And then I leant in and started listening to that, and one thing led to another, and here we are now. But what I love is the fact that the actual project worked straight away. Like, it worked without crypto. And when people are looking at your project and they go, well, I can log on here, I can see that as an app, and then go, well, hang on, it's got a token behind it. What does the token do? The token is a currency. It has a use. It is a currency. Mm-hmm. So the moment that clicks for most people, your thoughts are going to become more valuable long term, because you're already ahead of the game. And a lot of people still are head in the sand and can't see past that. So for me, the utility outweighs shiny coins like any day of the week. And you saw that early. Yeah. Now, we've known each other for 2 years. So you would have been developing and thinking about that probably a year and a half, 2 years before that. So you're well ahead of the curve. And I've seen the best and the worst of developers and projects, and seen that the only ones that last are really utility. You've got these Pepe rubbish coins that, people just jump on for a pump and dump hype. Yeah, sure enough, they've made their money, cool, but it really has a lifespan that's not going to go past a couple of years, because they don't bring anything to society. So with your token and getting it across to people that are not in the crypto world is going to be your biggest challenge. Yeah. But if they can already see that it was something else before that, this is just another financial payment service that we're offering at very low fees, and anyone can do it. That's going to be a part challenge, but I think once you can get people to see that you already have something working, that's going to be your greatest asset. Yeah, I personally think, and it will make 100%. A big difference.
100%. Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that want to create a token just for the sake of having a token.
Yeah. Unless they add a utility quite quickly, they're going to have problems.
That's right.
No intrinsic value.
That's right.
The token itself is all speculative.
You started the project, but what led to you going, there's a hole in the market, this needs to be happening in Australia? What was that driving force behind the idea for that?
Yeah, so being on board crypto years ago, I actually observed the lack of utility as far as being able to spend it like a real currency. I thought the word currency implies that I can use it like currency, and I really can't. And I'm hearing all my tech buddies in this space saying, it's the future, you got to get on board now. So here I am, jumping on board and then thinking, okay, when is the future? When can I start using this currency? And it wasn't really evolving fast enough or well enough. So what I ended up having to do was sell cryptocurrency to purchase things, and tax and all of that was part of it. But I thought, wouldn't it be good if there was a cryptocurrency that you could really use? Like, I could really just go straight into a coffee shop and buy a coffee, and then I could go and get my shopping and buy my shopping, and high frequency transactions could be done, not just big ticket items every now and then. And so thinking about that made me realize that's biggest problem for me is not the transaction cost so much, although it is a problem at that time for high frequency transactions. You can't pay $5 in a transaction fee for a $5 coffee. But I believe that all of the technological challenges around transaction speeds, costs, security, increasing decentralization, they can all be solved, and they are being solved. And that's not going to be the biggest problem for cryptocurrency. I believe that the biggest problem that needs to be solved for it to be mass adopted and become mainstream, especially as a mainstream borderless currency, is the spendability problem. If you told me in 5 years there's a cryptocurrency in 5 years it's this one, and it's going to have the most worldwide spendability, it's going to be accepted by the most merchants and businesses everywhere, that's the cryptocurrency I want to get on board now. And so we see our project in 5 years being that currency focused on utility and spendability. And that's the project that I believe, if we don't do it, someone will do it. It doesn't have to be us, but someone's going to be focusing on that problem, building applications, building the integrations for merchants, and making the blockchain friendly in that manner. It does have to have cheap transaction fees. It does need to be near instant. So obviously the tech has to back it, but also really having a pointy focus on, let's make this thing spendable. If we can achieve that, I believe that we'll be solving the biggest problem for cryptocurrency becoming mainstream. We've got on the roadmap, all the different cities that we plan on targeting over the next each quarter and over the next couple of years as we expand and go global. Our goal is to obviously over-deliver on our roadmap and deliver even faster than what's on there. We'll do as best as we can to do that as we scale.
So how many merchants or goods and services are currently using crypto in the world today?
It's around, last time I checked, around 18,000 merchants. I believe it will still be shy of 20,000 merchants worldwide accepting cryptocurrency. And we want to have more than the 20,000 that it is right now using just our cryptocurrency. We've got big goals.
Well, that's the thing. It's going from it being, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Binance. You're adding an extra layer, a new process, and giving the process, whereas they're just giving the token, which separates you completely. Which I think
peer to peer.
Exactly. Yeah. You're bringing the access and the token, whereas a company will bring the access but don't have the token, so they've got Bitcoin. You've brought both, which is fantastic.
Well, this is days of still early adoption, right?
Yeah.
So if we go back to what we were discussing before, where do we see it in 4 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? The acceptance of digital currency is not going to be 18,000 merchants.
Yeah.
It's going to be hundreds of thousands of merchants.
Yes.
Because we're going to transition, for the most part, from fiat currency to digital currency of sorts, no matter where you are in the world.
Yeah. Crypto in itself and a lot of the technology, unless you're an engineer, it's not simple, to be honest. The smart contracts and things and the consensus and the way that a lot of the things that are working in the background, all of that's very technical. But for the user, they don't care. They don't want it to be technical. So that's where the application layer is so important. Where you got the app, you got a very simple directory where you can just check out, what's near me and what can I buy and where can I go for lunch using my crypto wallet. That's got to be really simple. You got to be able to, when you go in and pay, you're not dealing with having to do an exchange swap and then doing this before you get to the counter, or having to use a certain, mechanism. It should just be, I just click here. It's my wallet. I click pay.
Awesome.
And then when I scan a QR code at the table, or when I tap at the counter, they can accept my payment.
And vice versa for the business owner as well. It needs to be simple.
For the business owner, they need it to integrate with their current systems, and it needs to be very simple.
Yep.
Whether they want to just use it on their phone, or whether they want it to be a part of their POS or anything like that. The application layer needs to be very, very simple and support that for them. So for them, at the end of the day, they can just see this is all my transactions coming in. Here's how it ties into my
Awesome.
business, and
Amazing.
here's my money. If I want to convert it to pay for things that are still in fiat currency, that also needs to be simple, especially in initial adoption,
Yeah.
where businesses can't pay rent using crypto right now.
Right.
And all of a sudden, half of their revenue is coming through crypto, through our coin. It's like, okay, we're going to have to convert a portion of this to go towards staff and things like that. So in the app, it just needs to be click of a button, convert to cash. We can now pay for things, and it's in my account. And so our company has gone ahead and registered as a digital currency exchange with
Yeah.
Austrac,
Yeah.
just so that we can facilitate those over-the-counter trades for businesses and make it extremely simple without integrating with complex exchanges
Yeah.
and all of this overhead, and
Yeah.
even the decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, and dealing with going there and converting to another digital currency and taking that. And everyday people that can just not have to
Yeah.
get overwhelmed with the crypto space. And if we're onboarding that space
Awesome.
heavily,
Yeah.
anyone that is a crypto enthusiast and does understand the tech should
All
be the
over it.
first person
All
to be
over
all
it,
over this
yeah.
and be like, I actually get it.
And then tell friends.
And I should be on this even before those people.
Yeah.
So those people are not,
Yeah.
it's not like we have to just impress crypto techies
Yeah.
with, here's our consensus algorithm. We're doing, proof of authority with hybrid proof of stake and we've got all of that. And that's what they like to talk about. And we want to obviously support the important things to crypto enthusiasts like decentralization. So it's a critical part of the way that we've built our blockchain to support that. And even just security is a given. It has to be there. You can't,
Yeah.
every blockchain that misses that is obviously dead
Yeah.
immediately. And on top of that, obviously scalability and all of those other things. We heavily need to focus on all of those things. We're not neglecting those.
Yeah.
But if you ask us what's the point of difference, I don't believe that the point of difference of our project that's the most important is that we've got a certain consensus protocol that's unique, or that we've got a certain transaction fee that's cheaper than a competitor, or that we can process a certain amount of transactions that another blockchain can't. It's that our blockchain ultimately can be spent at other businesses, and the scalability and all those other issues need to be solved so then we can support global adoption.
Yeah.
If you have scaled to taking world dominance over 18,000 merchants using crypto, what's after that?
Yeah, ultimately, a lot of the applications we're building, we actually want them to be deprecated, because we don't want people to have to use an app to find where they can spend their cryptocurrency with merchants. Because if you pull out your Visa card, you don't need to check a Visa app to know you can spend it. It should be so well adopted and mainstream that you can just walk in anywhere and be confident you'll be able to use your money.
Yep.
So we actually are building applications right now to support the initial scaling that will eventually one day, we want to become redundant. And we want ultimately not to be at 18,000 merchants or 20,000, 50,000 merchants. We want it to be that you just
Pay.
expect merchants to be there and to accept it. And there was a period there, I remember, where cash was still heavily accepted. There was occasionally a business you'd walk into that would not accept card. And it was, for me, growing up in a digital world, confusing to me why they would not accept card.
Interesting.
But you didn't have an app that told you these are the places your card is accepted. It was almost like you looked at them and went,
What's wrong with
I'm
you?
going to buy, a milkshake here. Why the heck can I not
Yeah.
use... Why do I have to use cash? Why do I have to find
Yeah.
an ATM?
Yeah.
We know.
Now when businesses say we don't accept card, kids are like, "What's cash?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
But where do I get
exactly.
that? Yeah.
So everyone's come to the party and they all accept the new form of payment that's
Yeah.
just standard today. And we want to make a cryptocurrency that becomes a new form of standard.
Great.
And
Yeah, I
that's
love
what we're
Because
working on.
your true adoption is nothing shy of what Afterpay really has done in Australia and now is global. They had a terminal, a POS terminal. Now you've got Westpac, you've got Commonwealth Bank terminals. Guess what? You just pay. It doesn't matter. It's adopted. Everyone uses it. It's there. Yours will be the same. That's the end goal. It's just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it should be everywhere.
I wanted to give you an opportunity to really express what you represent, what's led you to this path. Okay, now we can clearly see what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But for most people that are listening to an AMA, they want to know why they should invest. Okay, what's behind their investment? What are you bringing to them? Because at the end of the day, it's one thing for me to go, there's $100,000,
Yeah.
but they want 200 back, right? So you need to be able to show them that, okay, it's not a short-term play. We've got longevity. This is a real-world application. And if you can do that, you'll have people on the hook. So my questions were always based around, how many tokens are in supply? So how many tokens we got?
Yeah, we've got 1 billion tokens that have been sold during the pre-sale.
Okay.
Yeah, pre. In total, there'll be a 3.3 billion lockup of the tokens for 10 years, and that's vested to everything, including founders, the company itself, the liquidity provision, which is all a part of that. The pre-sale is all vested as well for a linear vesting period, and we've tried to make sure that this project has long-term health. So we've made sure that all of the tokens that are distributed over a reasonable period of time. Even the company itself, we don't want to believe that the company won't do the wrong thing. It's just that it can't, because we've set up the mechanics correctly in the tokenomics.
And that too there, that credibility, that transparency in crypto is rare.
Yeah, so we're going to be listing with centralized exchanges after the initial DEX offerings. If you want to be on early, the best place to do that's going to be Uniswap, because that's where we're going to be first providing liquidity to get on board. There's going to be 150 million tokens that are going to be put into liquidity. Not all of that will go straight into Uniswap. Some of that will be distributed to other exchanges as well. But there will be a large portion that goes to Uniswap initially. And that market cap, if you calculate it based on the circulating supply, which typically is what is done, as coins are vested, the utility is also increasing over time. So as people acquire their coins are unlocked, they can do a lot more with them. So that should promote health in the stability of the coin. And if you're getting your 3 months later some more coins, but now you can spend it at another thousands more restaurants and businesses and cafes and all of these different places. Well, now the need to then go straight to Uniswap or to another exchange and look for cash becomes a lot less. So we're de-risking that over time as people are actually getting their coins. The market cap obviously will have those jumps as the linear vesting is happening, if you're calculating just on circulating supply, that is. But the goal for us is to support that increase with real utility and a faster growing utility.
That's what separates you. That's really what separates you.
That's what I see that makes it unique.
Of what the company is allocated, 22% of that is going to be used to help and do philanthropic works, basically. So we want to help all of the different things in the world, and we believe that the size of this project and the potential and the vision for it is so big that there's no reason why we should not do something with the wealth that we generate. And for me, I really want to see hunger and starvation. I love to eat, but the fact that there's people in the world that just don't get to eat,
it's crazy.
To me, crazy. I want to eradicate that from the world. If you look at the website is where you can always find the updated team for who's working right now. But of course, we've got people involved with marketing and sales and the tech and everything else.
Are they full-time, part-time?
Yeah, half of our team is full-time and half of our team is on either a part to full-time contractor basis or,
And in this space, that alone speaks volumes, because most of the time the developer's doing it in his spare time. He's not even full-time. You guys have made leaps and bounds with that step.
It's full-time.
It's fun. I love the development side of the project, and unfortunately it's not going to be where I can spend all my time. Yeah. But I have a background in tech, working on software, and I do enjoy it. But for my role going forward, especially in the next couple of years to come, I'll spend a lot less time on the tech and spend a lot more of my time on other things. I would like to see governance of the project happening from a community that really has a voice and leads the project as well on big decisions. Ethereum, for example, it's got a big community and the community is very involved, and decision-making power is more distributed, and I think that's a healthy way for a project to be. where you're going to have less. We don't want power for corruption. And I'm not saying we're corrupt. I believe in the model that we should never trust a party not to do the wrong thing. We should just make it that the party, there's no party that won't do evil, but can't do evil kind of term. Yeah. And I think a lot of the projects that are the most successful today, just right now, have implemented that kind of ethos into their project. Yeah.
Amazing.
So we can expect volatility, but our goal is to create as much stability in the value of the coin as possible. The reason,
Yes.
and so if the coin has a lot of utility, if it has a lot of ability to be spent at places, and if the coin is currently worth X amount of coins for a hamburger or a Happy Meal, you kind of don't feel the need to create that volatility in the market when other coins are having their waves. I believe that the coins that will have the most stability in the market will have their own intrinsic value.
Yeah.
True intrinsic value.
Great.
And eventually we would like to see that in the long term, people are actually pricing things in our currency. Exchanges is more about, for me, creating that widespread ease of access, creating that ability to get on board, get off board, whatever you want to do. But it should just be easy for you to acquire the coin. And so it's all about user experience, not about how much volume we can get from going onto the exchange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And so by having that pathway for people to, if they're already, there's a lot of people on crypto and it's growing rapidly. And if you're already on a certain exchange and we can get listed there, we're just giving you that ease of access to get on board. Yeah, we can't stop someone putting $1 million in straight after the launch and being a whale in the system. Sure. But we're not promoting that pump behavior for our coin. What we're wanting to do is have people not just pump into the market when we launch to then make a quick buck and sell and create that volatility. Sure. What we want is most people coming through our exchanges and onto the project because they've heard about us through channels and they actually have intent to be on the project long term or to jump on it because, hey, I've just seen that my local place where I grab my Thai food every week, you know what, they do 30% off on this app.
100%.
And if I start using that, I can get 30% off. I might go and buy a bunch of that. And those are the people that are jumping on our product and on this currency and then using it. And they're not jumping on, in my opinion, for the wrong reasons. Of course, we want to have every restaurant. It's not like it's an eatery currency. If you want to get a mechanic or a plumber or whatever, of course. The reason we would be targeting the restaurants and the fooderies and anything like that early on is because what we're really targeting is high frequency businesses.
Every day.
Yeah,
the businesses that you spend, I guess, when you look at your bank account and look at what you spent money on over the week, we want to target the things that you're spending on the most.
Great.
Yeah.
First.
Great.
And then all of the other parties we will keep adding to the ecosystem.
Where are we going to be with that in 8 years? If you've created this now, you've got a token that's releasing. Oh, actually, let's go a step. When's the token being released? When can we get it?
In the public, it'll be mid September.
Okay, so September, right? So from September, I could jump on Uniswap and buy it.
Yeah.
I will be buying it.
If a company came along and offered you $100 million to take that off your hands because they love it, would you sell?
We'll use the 100 million to start another company called This.
And then why not?
Why have you not? Why would you not sell?
Well, obviously, the long-term plans for this project and company is much bigger than the short-term. And I actually want to see this thing done properly, and I want to actually see it through.
Great.
Genuinely want to see this through.
What if someone said to you, hey, we'll give you X amount of money, we want X amount, but we still want you to run it?
We're not interested in selling the company. We definitely want to see the vision that we've got achieved, and we want to do that for ourselves, but even for people that just love crypto and would like to see this happen.
Yeah.
So what would you do with 100 million if a VC came and said, hey, we love this and we want to back you? What would you do with 100 million?
Oh, we're going to scale.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the quick answer. It's a short answer. Obviously, there's more to it and planning around that.
It'd be more of us fast tracking the
and someone who just wants a
adoption.
Lambo.
Yeah.
So getting merchants on board, getting usability of the coin.
Yeah. there's definitely partnerships and exchange listings become less of exchanges. There's always, you can always expedite a process when it comes to we can pay for that expedition.
Yep.
And we would go for listings. We would globalize a lot faster. We would scale faster. We would also be able to make partnerships and things with that kind of money. From a VC, that's just we can happily spend on scale, and that's what they would want to see.
Yeah. Have you been approached by a VC yet?
We've talked to VCs and we've been offered, some stuff, but we haven't gone ahead with anything yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on an amazing start, and we all look forward to what's to come into the future. Thank you, Paul, for coming.
Pleasure.
Jason, thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
And again, thank you, Bailey, for your time as well.